Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Japan Toys. I'm Andy, once again of course, as ever, and we're here to talk about Ramble from Galaxy Force. Ramble, not Rumble, nor Frenzy, nor anything to do with them. Well, maybe some slight hints here and there about them, but yeah, these are little spider tank dudes, and we get all three colours. We get a red one, we get a blue one, and a yellow one. One of them was limited only to Japan, if I remember correctly, and I can't remember which one, and the other two were everywhere else. But yeah, we're going to have a look at them as an entity, as a thing that once again exists in the world, not as each individual colour, because, you know, apart from the difference in the colour, they're all pretty similar. So let's get straight into the video, and, you know, let's see if you like them, and see if I like them. Let's see. The Rambles 3. Here they are in all of the colour schemes that came out for the Galaxy Force line, so we're going to focus mainly on the red version today, guys, because I like red, and red is the colour of my choosing. And as a alt mode, it's pretty cool. I would have maybe liked it to have two more legs, just to make it a proper spider tank, but yo, I like it. It's cool. The big cannon on the top is intimidating enough. I guess a big problem you could say is you look at this dude and you're like, I know how everything's going to transform or whereabouts everything's going to go. Which I'm okay with, but I know some people would be like, oh, I wish they'd hidden more stuff or made this a lot more intricate. But yo, Scout size figure doesn't really bother me too much. And I think it's a fairly successful look. The problem, I guess, is you can see the head very clearly down the top here, which is a bit of a shame, but what are you going to do? What can the spider tank do? Well, because he has all these limbs and they're all ball jointy, you can get a lot of movement out of here, because there's a ball joint here and a ball joint here, so lots of movement can be made with this figure, which is good. It also transfers obviously to the robot mode, but I'll talk about that later. There is the ball joint, so we have a little foot mover here as well. The problem is, this is a super tight joint. Same for this one as well. These black bits connecting to the, I guess, the biceps are super tight. They're a little bit unpleasant to move in a lot of ways, but I like the fact that you've got this weird feature where you can knock these, what I originally thought were wheels down, but in this mode I like to think they're more like stabilizers, or, you know, you would plant these into the ground and then he could really give it a good welly at the cannon and really fire away like a gun emplacement, and then switch back to these pointy bits so then he could scuttle along again. That's pretty much all he can do, because we'll use the force chip in his robot mode, so let's take him to that mode. So Ramble here in his robot mode makes a really cool troop building kind of robot, which is why I'm sure they did him in multiple colours. I like the fact that the shoulder cannon looks pretty cool. It works. It does hinder a little bit of articulation, but I'll talk about that when I get to it. Overall though, it's a solid looking cannon. It doesn't feel out of place being there on his shoulder, and just because of how little there was to the transformation and to the spider tank mode, it means that the back's really clean. There's not a lot of stuff just hanging off of him, apart from obviously his little spikes on his forearms. Apart from that, you know, he's a clean looking robot. Don't like the face sculpt at all though. It doesn't do it for me. I think it's the little mouth that really kind of throws me off. But he has hella good light piping, guys. Like, he has these big eyes and they just suck in all of the light, which I really approve of. So, articulation for Ramble, kind of the same as in his spider tank mode. The arms, because they're on ball joints, can do all this stuff. Shoulder pad moves up and down, give him a bit more clearance. I wish that part wasn't quite as wobbly. Yeah, we have a bend, obviously, at the elbow, but it's a bicep curling arm, unfortunately, which is a big no-no in my book. I really don't like the bicep curling arm. It looks always a bit poop. But he can do that if you want him to, so let's... hate that joint. So tight. The cannon can move as well, but it will bump into his head a little bit just because it's right next to it, which is a bit of a shame, but you can work around it if you really want to turn it around. To turn his head, it's a good idea to grab his little horns, because it is, again, a little bit tricky to grab. So yeah, just use those horns if you want to do that, and we get twisting. No waist articulation because of how he transforms, and the legs do, once again, exactly what you would expect them to do, being on ball joints and whatnot. We also have the toes that bend up and down a little bit, which is neat. Oh, and a neat little thing you can do with this guy as well, if you want to make him a little bit different from the other coloured versions, is you untransform him a little bit, and then you can swivel this around. Come on. Swivel this around and then reattach all of his bits. Reattaching bits. And there you go. You can just mix them up just a little bit and have the cannon on the other shoulder if you choose. It's kind of nice that you can mix them up like this. We also have this gimmick where you can flip these down and maybe he wants to jab you with these pokey hands. Or what I think this is really for is when you knock these bits up, they become pretty much the Ramble frenzy things from the G1 cartoons, I like to think, and you can whack that ground. I'm sure he's meant to do that, but I can't remember. We'll say it is, because that looks like what it's meant to be there for. Now, what can he do with this force chip? Well, what we'll do is we'll put it in here, and unfortunately my version, when I throw it in, it doesn't do it straight away, just because it's quite tight. So we put it in, and the joint kind of works, and then for me anyway, for this one, you just need to kind of work it a little bit, and you get the idea of what's meant to happen. There you go, see, it would flip forward, and we reveal a knife. So the cannon turns into a big sword, which looks a bit dumb. So I like to pull it out, and then, when we transform his hands back, give him a proper sword, like such. So there you go. Now he has a sword to shiv, stab, and slice, as is tend to happen with swords. We do have the cannon, unfortunately, and I wish you could just plop this back up, but because of the spring gimmick, you can't. But that's Ramble. That's all of his stuff. So is Ramble worth getting? I think he's a neat little basic figure. He does a lot of cool things. I love the spider mode because all of those limbs moving is always a fun thing. He comes in a variety of colours. He's a neat little dude. Don't spend a lot on him, I don't think. Hard to say. If you want the set, it's hard to get because I know one of these colours was super rare. And I'm selling all of them as a pair because I want to get rid of all of them in one go. They're okay. They're good little toys, I think. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video. Hope it's been fun, and I'll catch you next time.